Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. On today's show, Brandon Aiyuk's price tag has finally been revealed. Is it worth it for the Washington Commanders? I will give you my answer at the top of today's show. Then should the Washington Commanders consider drafting Jeremiah Love in round 1 with the number 7 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft? And then we'll finish up with another Commanders uniform update here. This one is pretty big, so make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's show. But next week, it is the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine, and we're going to have extensive coverage for you guys from Indianapolis. Our crew from Chat Sports will be there asking questions to both Adam Peters, the GM, and Dan Quinn, the head coach, as well as all the players. We're going to have updates on which players they're formally meeting with at the Combine, all that great stuff. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for our in-depth coverage from Indianapolis next week. I greatly appreciate your guys' support. So now let's turn our focus here at the top of today's show to I guess he's not technically former yet, but he's soon to be former wide receiver of the San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Aiyuk. And whether we like it or not as fans, it does seem like he is likely going to be signing with the Washington Commanders this offseason, reuniting with his former college teammate and best friend, Jaden Daniels, here with the Burgundy and Gold. And we finally have a market value projection from Spotrac on Mr. Brandon Aiyuk, and they currently project him at just a one-year deal worth $12.3 million. And with today's wide receiver market getting over $40 million now, this is a price tag for somebody that was an all-pro just a few seasons ago, where it's more of a prove-it deal. And listen, man, for this contract, I think, you can definitely talk yourself into taking on the risk of bringing in a guy like Brandon Aiyuk into the fold here, because if Brandon Aiyuk hits and he's, the same type of player, same type of route runner, same type of guy that he was in his all-pro season when he helped the San Francisco 49ers make the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And he's your number 2 receiver next to Terry McLaurin. I mean, that is a wide receiver duo that can absolutely, be lethal with Jaden Daniels throwing them the football next year. Now, obviously, there are some risks that we have talked about on the show before. He's had some off-the-field, distractions, let's call them, over the last several years. There's some people that are worried about CTE with Brandon Aiyuk and, him kind of going crazy, similar to the level that Antonio Brown did at the end of his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers going into the Las Vegas Raiders. I get all those concerns, guys, not to mention he's coming off a very major knee injury, and you just wonder if he's going to be the same level of player. But just a $12.3 million contract over 1 year, guys, that's probably going to be less than someone, say, like Romeo Doubs is going to get in free agency this year. I think if that ends up being the price tag for Brandon Aiyuk, that is a price tag that I would be willing to pay to bring Aiyuk to the nation's capital here and pair up with Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels for the foreseeable future. But here's the thing, guys. There's another former Sun Devil that played with both Jaden Daniels and Brandon Aiyuk in college that's going to be a free agent this offseason in a position of need for the Washington Commanders. I'm going to let you guys know this other potential target for the Washington Commanders here in just a second. But first, what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Is Brandon Aiyuk worth it for 1 year, $12.3 million next season? Type S if you would sign him for that dollar figure, or type P if you're passing on him and going in a different direction. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So in just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today. While I tell you about our sponsor, give me an S for sign or P for pass. And if you guys want to join the Washington drinking team here at Chat Sports, you guys can get your t-shirt today at chatsports.com/DCGreen. You guys have been asking for merch here on the Commanders Report for a very long time now. We have finally convinced our bosses here at Chat Sports to allow us to do some merch stuff for you guys. And these shirts come in either green or black. You guys have seen them both on screen right here. And these are limited edition Washington Drinking Team t-shirts that are only $29.99 on our website when you go to our link, chatsports.com/DCGreen. I personally helped our design team here at Chat Sports come up with this design, guys. And my bosses tell me the more that we sell of these babies, the more merch opportunities we're going to be able to get. So we could do some fun stuff with Terry McLaurin. We could do some stuff with Jaden Daniels, Brandon Aiyuk if he ends up coming here, all that great great stuff. So get yours today. The more we sell, the more merch opportunities we are going to have in the future. So if you want to join the Washington drinking team today, go chatsports.com/DC Green. That link is down there in the comments and description of today's show if you guys want to make a purchase. All right, so now the player that I was referring to earlier that has played with both Jayden Daniels and Brandon Aiyuk back when they were in college at Arizona State is running back Rachaad White, formerly with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who is slated to be a free agent this offseason. And Rachaad is 27 years old, so, he's getting up there for a running back, but, he's still young enough where you can sign him to a multi-year contract, and, that contract can expire before he gets to the age of 30. He's known as a very solid number 2/3 down back type of guy. He's not going to be somebody that takes over your number 1 spot or anything like that, but if you want Bill Krosky-Merritt to be your future number 1 running back and your early down running back, Rachaad is a really good pass protector, and he's very solid in terms of his receiving ability. He's kind of just one of those really solid third down backs. He's not going to be completely crazy for you or anything like that, or completely set the world on fire, but he's a very solid player, and he should be relatively affordable as well. Right now, his projected market value, according to Spotrac, is 2 years, $11 million. So it's $5.5 million per season to bring Rachaad White here to the nation's capital. I think that this is something to definitely keep your eye on here. Now, my take on Rachaad is that there's certainly better running back options out there if you want to spend more money. Like if you want to go out and spend on Breece Hall, you could do that if you want, if you're looking for a number 1 running back. But if you believe in Bill as your future number 1 guy, Rachaad White makes a lot of sense as a number 2 option that you can lock down for a couple of seasons. And, of course, Jayden Daniels factors into the run game as well. You have to remember that. So I think that Washington could do a lot worse than Rachaad White as their number 2 running back heading into the future. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Who will be the starting running back duo for the Commanders next year? Is it going to be Bill and Rachaad White? Are they going to bring back Jeremy McNichols? Are they going to make a big move for a big name like Breece Hall? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Now, a name that is being floated out there by, a certain contingent of Commanders fans right now is that the Washington Commanders should make the big splash at running back, not in free agency, but in the NFL draft, particularly in the first round of the NFL draft for Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. Now, I'm going to start this by saying I love Jeremiah Love. I am a Notre Dame fan. I think Jeremiah Love is a fantastic player, and he would have gotten my vote for the Heisman Trophy this year, honestly, okay? I think Jeremiah Love's going to be an awesome running back in the National Football League. However, going running back for the Washington Commanders, I think would be a mistake for this football team, okay? Running back, as we know, is a lower value position. And, the first thing that I will say about going running back, and specifically Jeremiah Love at number 7, is that it's not even close to the top need on the Washington Commanders roster. I mean, we got a lot of stuff that we got to address here in Washington, wide receiver, edge rusher, linebacker, safety, cornerback, and all those positions I would address before, addressing running back in the first round. I mean, you can even go tight end before we get to running back, in my opinion. And, I know that Jeremiah Love's a great player, but, you only have a certain amount of picks. You only have 6 picks, only 2 in the top 100. To spend one of those picks on a position that you don't really desperately need, I think would be a mistake for the Washington Commanders. Then the second thing is, drafting running backs, especially in the top 10, is risky business because first of all, we saw it with Ashton Jeanty last year. Sometimes it's just not the right fit, and, I still think Genty's going to be really good, but you got to make sure you have the infrastructure in place for that running back to be really good right away because they've got a short shelf life. I mean, running backs nowadays, they get like 6, 7, maybe 8 good years, and then they are done. If I'm the Washington Commanders and I have this opportunity to draft in the top 10 for maybe the last time in quite a while, we're hoping that Jayden Daniels is going to be able to lead this team to excellent season after excellent season. This might be the last time we're picking in the top 10 for a while. I want somebody that can be a 10-year starter and be a great partner for Jayden Daniels over the next decade plus, particularly probably somebody on the defensive side of the ball, the part of the Commanders roster that desperately needs help. I mean, the offense, I would argue, with Jayden Daniels, Bill Krosky-Merritt, Terry McLaurin, you're likely bringing in Brandon Aiyuk. Like, that is not the side of the ball that needs the first round attention. I think you need to go get a player either in the secondary or in the defensive trenches there in the first round if you are the Washington Commanders. But what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments. Should Jeremiah Love be in play for the Commanders in round 1? I say no. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And as always, let me know your reasoning down there in the comments as well. Now, before I go, I do have some uniform news for you guys. We got some more updates on what we can expect from the Washington Commanders' new uniforms that are coming here in 2026. We got our latest update here from Zach Cohen, who is the uniform insider in the National Football League on X. And he says everything we know about the upcoming Washington Commanders redesign so far with new info and info from my last report in October. This is everything that Cohen put in his most recent report. Exclusive. Sources tell me a glossy helmet finish will replace the matte finish on the current helmets. Permanent Super Bowl era throwbacks as their primary uniforms. 99% certainty of no primary logo change. And then we get to obvious speculation about alternate uniform details. And we'll talk about what that uniform speculation is here in just a second. But personally, guys, I am all for the Super Bowl era uniforms being full-time. All right, obviously it was a call back to the old Redskins uniforms and the way that those were designed. And, it was very well received last year by the Washington Commanders fan base, and for good reason. They are very clean, they look modern, but also they pay homage to the past of this organization and to the glory days of this organization. And honestly, man, the burgundy colorway of this uniform is going to look so cool, man. I can't wait to see it because that's going to be the home uniforms that we get to see at Northwest Stadium every single Sunday during Commanders home games. And I do think that the helmet, the full-time helmet, is going to have that, the white, the yellow stripe down the middle, but also the 2 yellow stripes beside it, just like the classic Redskins helmets. And this is something that a glossy helmet could look like, and I think it looks absolutely sweet. I'm personally a fan of the matte look for the Commanders helmets, but I also really like the glossy look as well. So I think that this is something that could look really, really cool for the Washington Commanders, and I think that in terms of, style on NFL Sundays, there's not going to be many teams that can match what the Washington Commanders are going to be putting out there on a weekly basis. Now, it also looks like that a spear helmet could be on its way as an alternate. Of course, the Commanders are implementing more of the spear imagery into their team branding, and of course, the old spear logo alternates are some of the best alternates this team has ever had. Of course, they used to be the primaries back in the day, but I think that we could see, kind of the old school burgundy, spear helmet, something kind of like this, where you get the spear on there. You get the old school, dark burgundy on there, but I don't think we're going to see the feather, okay? I think if you're hoping to see the spear along with the feather, I think you're going to be disappointed. In all the spear imagery that we're getting from the Commanders over the last several years, the feather has not been on there. So I think they're moving more towards a Roman kind of imagery than a Native American one. And, I know that, there's going to be people that have opinions on that or whatever, but I think that, they're getting as close to the previous stuff that they had back in the past without fully going back to the Native American stuff. I'm personally somebody that thinks that implementing Native American culture can be something that's really cool for this organization, but it sounds like the organization wants to move forward with a new day for this franchise, and it sounds like they want to lean more into Roman imagery than Native American imagery, and I think that that's something that can work for this franchise moving forward, and I'm excited to see how they implement it into these new uniforms moving forward. So predict it for me down there in the comment section. Will the feather make its return to the team branding this season in some capacity? Give me an R if you think it returns, or type D if you think the feather is officially dead here in Washington. Now make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to get you guys extensive Commanders content, not only throughout the rest of this week, but also during the NFL Combine next week in Indianapolis with our team here at Chat Sports. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Till next time, guys, go raise some hail.